Okay.
Well, BBN Fan Show, we right here. We're celebrating a victory. We got this win. Miss Leigh is right here with me. She's right here. See, yeah, yeah. Hey, we are ecstatic about this win. We have some things to talk about. Cutter Bowley played great. We're going to have a good show. We're going to talk about everything. Everybody get on here. Let's talk about it. And Miss Leigh, what do you think about this football win tonight?
Okay, I gotta say, y'all, I love me some Jagger Burton. I really do. Don't get me wrong. But Jagger Burton is either creating penalties, costing us yardage, holding offsides, whatever, or he is having trouble snapping the ball. Like I love Burton. Come on, Burton.
Yeah, yeah, I understand, and I want to, I want to put this up. Do we have anything else besides him? I mean, is that all we have, or is that just our last opportunity? He's going to have to get better, or do we bring in somebody else?
Well, I mean, he is going to have to get better, but even the announcer said, "Do you take Burton out, or he's back under center?" So there has to be somebody else if they're saying he's back under center. That means he wasn't there so there has to be.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand that. I just want to know if we have somebody that is right behind him. Is that better, or are we just going to have to be right now? We're just going to have to uh, basically take this what we have.
I- You know, I mean, he could stand some more practice. Like, I don't know, maybe,
Well, yeah,
maybe he needs a little extra time with snapping. Maybe he needs to like practice like 100 snaps a day or something just to keep his hand on it. Because I mean, you could clearly see it bobbled.
yeah. I mean, you see that in in the NFL, when you bring your second, third, but you're doing that in college. It's still about the same thing. But yeah, he's going to have to get 100, 200, 300 snaps this week, all the way through next week when we have a bye week, just to get acclimated into the situation. And if that's all we have, that's what we got to work with.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's true. We just there needs to be a little bit more focus. Maybe he needs a little more focus. Maybe he's distracted. I mean, and that's possible because they're mouthing and there's a bunch of trash talking going on, and maybe he gets distracted. I don't know. Maybe his hands are too small. I don't know. Maybe he can't. I
Yeah,
don't.
that
I
might be true.
I
Yeah,
mean, I don't know, but there's something going on there to where he's not focused because the penalties that he causes are usually offsides, false start. So you got to think that or bobbling the ball. It seems to me to be a focus issue. That's what I got there.
yeah. With this game, I thought that like the penalties, the things that went on with this game, we would maybe keep them down to just a little bit. It kind of bit us a little bit here and there. We lost possessions, and this game wasn't like the smooth game that I kind of thought this game was going to be. We did win the game pretty good. We did not make the we didn't beat the point spread, but
Nope.
uh,
Um,
do you think that Cutter ought to be the quarterback coming all the way in?
I do. I think he proved himself tonight. I mean, he only got sacked once, I
Yeah,
think, but I mean, he proved himself. He came out there and he got the job done. I mean, we had like I've got notes from the start of the game all the way through, like in chronological order. But like McGowan had 3 rushing touchdowns. So you've got to look at quarterback did his job.
Mhm.
There were some amazing passes, and he was dead on. Like a couple of them, yeah, a little overthrown, but for the most part, like, and I've got it written down here somewhere. But there was one that when the guy caught it like down towards the end, it was like, oh my gosh, that was right to him. Like he had defenders on him, and it was right to him. I really do think Cutter Bowley earned the starting spot tonight.
Yeah, I believe so myself. We're going into a bye week. I think it's Cutter Bowley's week to prove, and I don't know what's going to happen. With Kanzada, with his shoulder and everything. I still think you need to start what is going good right now, and what is going good right now is Cutter Bowley.
Right. And we talked about in the pregame about keeping it simple and don't try to do too much. And there at the end, he tried to do too much. And what happened? We ended up with a field goal. If he would have kept that simple, that would have been another touchdown on the boards.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, me and you discussed this. We talked about it in the pregame show. Just keep it simple. Don't go for anything, and uh, the, the offense is going to come. You don't have to force it, and
Right.
I believe he. I think I don't know if it was him, his decisions, or anything, but I think maybe offensive coordinator maybe Stoops kind of tried to force a little bit and thought that they could get a little bit more, but maybe not. But this is a team that is growing right now, and this team is going to get way better all the way through the whole season. And you don't have to get better every possession. You just got to get a little bit, grease the gears and get everything going. And you don't have to get everything in one down. You just go ahead and get everything, and everything's going to be fine.
Yeah. And that's just the way it's going to be. You can't change that. I see, Vanderbilt beat South Carolina. I wanted to be their first loss, but oh
Yeah,
well. So okay. So at one point when Eastern Michigan did tried to fake the punt and Works got in there and got him, that was huge.
yeah,
That was our defense doing their job.
yeah. He was our defense was all over that. Well, it was our special teams that
Yeah, it
was
was.
in there. We had some defensive players that play special teams, but our
Right.
special teams was all over that play.
They were. They read that like a book. And it worked. It worked flawlessly. What do you think about Bryant's hustle when he had that punt return and got all those extra yards on that?
Oh, that was unbelievable. I mean, I kept on watching, and I was like, he's going to go all the way. And it was just, I mean, it was an unbelievable, return. Everything. I mean, we had some spectacular plays tonight. Even Cutter Bowley making some plays downfield. Just running, and I can't. Patterson, he is going to be a great running back for us. I mean, we have two great running backs with McCowan and Dowdell, and now you got Patterson backing them up. Wow.
This was the first night he hasn't had any carries until tonight, and he
Yeah.
scores a touchdown. So I mean, and he's also a redshirted freshman, so that's really great. I like seeing him get out there and do something.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was hyped up for that too.
Oh, I'll guarantee he was. I mean, for basically his first game of being under the limelight, the spotlights in Kroger Field. I still call it Commonwealth Stadium,
Yep.
but him being there and being and doing what he did there at the end of the game and during the game. Oh, yeah, he played spectacular, and For him, he ought to look to himself and say, I did good, and just now I need to get better.
Right. Improve on what you just accomplished.
Yes.
Just fine tune it. I'll tell you what, the big blue wall defensively did a really good job tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe they did. Yeah.
Our defense held them. That 4th and 4. That was crazy. They try to go for a fake punt, and you see what it got them. I mean, I'm happy for the win. I agree that you know should we have scored more? Did penalties hurt us a few times? Yes, but it's definitely an improvement over the last 2 games. With Cutter Bowley in there as at quarterback. I mean, he deserves it. I can't say enough about that.
Yeah, I believe so. He has deserved the quarterback spot right now. Calzada. I mean, I like him, but right now, I think even coming off of bye week, I think that Cutter Bowley should be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I do too. We had 4 rushing TDs tonight. So
yeah,
I mean McGowan had over 100 yards. He had 3 TDs on his own. We did not allow any touchdowns in the red zone. Only 2 field goals. So
yeah,
that was good on the defense to stop them in the red zone.
yeah. I mean, I'm not ecstatic, but I'm happy with this team right now. We just need to improve over the the off week, and then go into South Carolina. I know we're going to be underdogs, but let's just go in there with a positive attitude. We're going to be healthy. That we can win that game. I mean, it's not like all hopes and everything and wishes and everything. Let's go in there with a positive attitude and say we're going to beat them on their home field.
Right. One thing I want to say too was it was the last touchdown that Eastern Michigan scored. Our defense dropped the ball completely. Like, dude had a wide open lane to score. You know that that cost us. So
Yeah,
that was a careless mistake, not having the coverage where it needed to be, not reading the play. And that goes back to what we talked about earlier with communication and knowing, being aware of what's going on and being aware of, what's next, because you have to be able to, read ahead.
yeah,
So it cost us. Well, it didn't cost us the game, but it cost us another touchdown that Eastern Michigan was able to score.
yeah. And I know, Peanut, he was, Texas State beat them by 25. And, well, I mean, it's different circumstances. I don't know where that game was played when Texas State beat them, but, it's just what we're doing right now with the state of football for Kentucky. And, we just got to roll with it. And we're going to have great games. We're going to have probably some bad games, but hey, we're here. We're supporting the team. We're always going to be here for this team, and that's why we're on this podcast doing this.
Yeah. We're here to, bring the news to you guys. We're here because we love Kentucky and Kentucky sports. And, we you have to take what comes.
Yeah,
Good with the bad. I don't think any of us or any of our viewers are fair weather friend or fair weather fans. I really believe that good or bad, and we may say some things, but good or bad, we never falter. We're always there. You know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, our winning spirit of just a Kentucky basketball fan, football fan, baseball fan, volleyball. I watched a volleyball game the other night, and we got we was like ranked we're still ranked like in the top 10, and we got beat like in 3 sets, and I was like, wow, it blew my mind. But I'm watching, I watch every sport, and even in this football team, I'm going to watch them all the way until the end of January, whenever it goes, and when they're finished with football, I'm going to be watching them. And so, I'm hoping everybody that's on here that's fans that does not think that football is relevant. It is relevant for Kentucky. I know I'm a big basketball fan. Miss Leigh, you're a big basketball fan. We all love basketball. We love football. We love everything. Let's just keep our mindset right now with the football team. When basketball starts, we'll keep going on with that. And then we're going to still keep it with football, but with everything that's going on, I think Stoops is turned a little bit towards the better right now.
I think he's actually, it seemed like in this game that he actually let the coordinators do their jobs. And that's where I think the problems lie, because like at one point it was, I have to know everything, I have to know what's going on, it all needs to go through me. And then, if they told him something, he'd be like, oh, I don't want to, I don't think we need to do that, we're going to do this. So if he lets them do what they're being paid to do, I think it makes a difference in the game.
Yeah, I totally agree that. I mean, it's when you don't have the trust, and if you're asking somebody to do a job, and then you don't let them do the job, then that's a big issue. And I'm hoping that maybe he has gotten over that a little bit, and he's letting everybody do what they are supposed to do.
Micromanaging never works,
No,
because not only do you have too much of back breakdown communication, but somebody gets butt hurt, and you get the other person like, well, what's the point? You're not going to do what I say anyway, or what I suggest. So there gets to be animosity between the two people because of I'm not going to let you do your job. It needs to run through me, and I'm going to change it. So yeah, I think that is one thing that definitely needs to stop, because if not, there's just animosity there.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I with me, I can't negotiate anything that you are saying, or I'm saying, or that anybody that's in our chats can say. This is a football team that we want to be like great, and we watch these games every weekend, no matter if we get beat.
Yeah,
We're still gonna support them.
exactly. Hi, Jeff. That's a friend of mine, Jeff. He's tuning in tonight. I think it's the first chance he's had to be able to tune
Well,
into the show. So we're
thank you.
glad you're here, Jeff.
Yeah,
Big
thank you,
shout out.
Jeff.
But yeah, I think attitudes needed to change. Um, about who's there for what, and everybody needs to know their role and be able to do their role. You don't pay somebody to do a job and then not let them do their job. It never works when you do that. Penalties tonight reminded me of last year. New players, same results. And
Well,
and what did we say earlier in the pregame? If we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, and there were a few plays tonight where we shot ourselves in the foot with penalties. I'm just glad that Eastern Michigan had more than we did.
that is true. But yeah, me and you both talked about that, and penalties. If we're playing against a team like Eastern Michigan, we should limit those penalties all the way down to like maybe one or two a half. First half, second half, and we didn't do that. and we had costly, penalties that hurt us, and it's just it's a bad situation. And I know that Mark Stoops, he's bringing this down to all the coaches and everything. Say, let's don't do this, but when it happens, I don't. It don't come back on Stoops. He's putting it on to his defensive coordinator. He's putting it on his offensive coordinator, and then I'm like, he's not taking responsibility.
But how are you going to put it on them when everything has to run through you and you're making the final decision and changing what they said? You can't put it off on them.
No,
You need to take accountability and be held accountable for those decisions. And you need to let the guys that are getting paid to do that specific job do their specific job.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm 100% with that. I mean, I know we got new players and things like that, and different things comes in with like different players, new players blending in with everything that they're wanting to try to get done. But you can't just blame it on new players all the time. It has to be a community type a football team. Everybody has to be together. And if one player or two players or three players are doing it three different times in three different possessions, then all of a sudden it comes back to the coaching staffs that, well, you didn't prepare your players well enough for this game.
Exactly. And then you get the penalties, and it's the same kind of penalties over and over and over. And to me, an offsides penalty tells me you were not focused. You were not paying attention. And it goes back to communication, knowing where you're at, knowing the surroundings, and being focused. And I think that that's something that needs to be worked on.
Well, that can actually go back to practice too.
Hmm.
I mean, if they're not focused in practice, and if saying, okay, uh, three plays in a row in a real game, and they're making the same three mistakes three times in a row, but okay, when you was in practice, if they made them three mistakes in a row, why was you not correcting that before a game, and then reiterizing it and say it in the game before the game, saying, this do not make these mistakes, because if you make these mistakes, we're not going to be in contention to win this game unless we're playing Eastern Michigan.
Exactly. Exactly. And I do get that about Bush Hamden, as far as not being, consistent, and the
Yeah,
continuity. I do get that. And you almost see Stoops told him he wanted more of a running game. Tonight we had more of a running game.
yeah.
That did work. But was that coming from Bush Hamden, or was that coming from Stoops? Was it another situation where Hamden said we're doing this and Stoops is like, nah, I think we need to do this? Or was that really Bush Hamden making those decisions?
Well, I mean, we'll never really know. I know before this game that Stoop said he wanted to try to run the ball more, but you still don't know what Bush Hamden was wanting to try to do in this game.
Right. We don't know. And we'll never know. Like you said, we'll never know.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody.
I want to get off the not off the track or anything, but the Arkansas game tonight, one of the players, Kanani Walker, uh, I want to give wishes out for him. Uh, all the Arkansas players, coaches, everything. He went out on a stretcher. I don't know exactly the extent of the injury. He did was on the stretcher and they drove him out. He did put a thumbs up, actually that he was actually to move his extremities. But other than that, I don't know, you know, anything about that. But I hope everything is great. And it delayed the game like 30 minutes or something like that. But I just wish him and everything for Arkansas, him player, his who everybody that's around him.
Oh, exactly. Our thoughts and prayers go out to
Yeah,
him and his family and the school. Um, so I don't know who noticed and who didn't notice. Jimmy, I know you did because we were talking about it.
yeah,
Towards the middle of the fourth quarter, towards the later half of the fourth quarter, we put in our second string defense.
yeah.
That's when dude got through, had a wide open lane, and they scored. And but all in all, they really didn't do that bad. They did have a couple of really good stops.
Yeah. Our second line defense looked pretty good. I mean, you really didn't see it too much that they had took everybody out and put almost a whole 11 players in for defense, but they did, and we didn't play that bad. And me and you talked. I believe that we would have probably won the game and beat the point spread if we'd have kept our players in.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that was the only reason that we lost the point spread is because of that touchdown.
Yeah.
And they just did not block him. They hadn't hit. There was no coverage.
Oh yeah, that's true. When you put your second string in, it messes up the whole the whole string of the game anyhow. So
It does. It does. Mark Pope, Era Van Dyne, and Malachi Moreno at the football game. Heck yeah. That's what we need. Get those recruits at the football game.
Well, yeah. Well, it's Arifan. It's spelled
It's
like
it's
it is, but it's spelled with a J when you pronounce it, Jan.
yeah. Jan,
And
yeah.
he has, I think, 3 or 4 more visits after Kentucky. So I'm not really. I think Houston is basically the lead person for him to go to college basketball. But
I
I think
do.
Kentucky might be second.
I think he's Houston's to lose.
Yeah, I do.
I, I,
I believe so too.
I mean, would I like to have him? Oh yeah.
Oh,
But
I'd
do I?
love that. I mean, yeah. He's 7'1", 290 pounds. I mean, he's gonna be a beast. He's gonna be a beast in college basketball next year.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Houston is it's for them to lose. I think Kentucky is in the second spot right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with it as
Yeah,
well. So we'll see.
we'll see. Yeah,
On
we'll talk about that a little bit more Wednesday night.
our show.
I think we're going to have a lot more of a recruiting type of show next weekend or next
Yes.
week. Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, and Monday night we'll be back on here and talk about what happened with this football game this past weekend. But Wednesday night, I think me and Miss Leigh is going to get together. We're going to get a lot of recruits. I mean, there's about 5 or 6. If you agree with me, Miss Leigh, that we're looking at real hard right now for
Yes.
college basketball. So
We'll bring you the latest up to date news on what we know about them.
yeah. But getting back to football, yeah, I believe Cutter should be our starting quarterback for right now.
I do too. I think that's a done deal. Like I said, I think he earned it 100%.
Yeah. And like Otis said, Cutter played good. Yeah, he did. He played great.
And now we get the SEC after the bye. We get SEC play with South Carolina. So, we'll be anxiously awaiting that. Hopefully they can get some of the kinks worked out.
Being down there in South Carolina, and now that they got beat, well, they'll probably play another game next week. I don't know if they have an off week or anything. So
they don't have a bye.
Yeah, so
maybe their frustration will be taken out on whoever they're playing next week, and it won't be on us.
Yeah, on the next team. So yeah, and hopefully we'll come down there and be will be fresh. No injuries. Cutter Bowley, I have another 2 weeks under his,
Yep.
under practice and getting all the first reps for, offense. Our defense needs to improve on the sidelines. I mean, we're getting beat on the sidelines, and we're getting beat by Eastern Michigan. I
Yeah.
mean, we got beat by Ole Miss. That's okay with me. We shouldn't have gotten beat against Ole Miss, but when we're getting beat by Eastern Michigan on the sidelines for easy passes, and they're getting 15, 20 yards, well, we cannot. That's not acceptable.
No, it's not. I mean, we were doing great when they were going up the middle and things like that. We had them, but as soon as they would go to the outside, one of the outsides, we just lost them. Like their guys had a couple feet on us, a couple strides on us sometimes, and I just think that needs to definitely be improved upon. And Jagger Burton, stop messing up when you snap the ball, and stop going offsides and false starts. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, Kentucky fans, football fans. I'm glad that everybody's here in the chat. Otis and Don and everybody and Miss Leigh. I'm glad that you stayed up this late. I stayed up this late. I've been watching football games all the way since like 12 o'clock noon. This afternoon, and I'm a little tired. I'm ready to take a nap and sleep for a little bit and get up in the morning.
I moved some of my mom's stuff into the assisted living today. So, and then talked to you, had the pregame, watched. I got to go pack stuff up now. So, y'all hit the like button.
Yeah, everybody hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell. That way you'll know exactly when we're coming on here and everything. You'll know when Miss Leigh is on here, along with Big Mike. When BC's on here on Mondays, 21 is always
Special
in the
thanks to
background.
21 tonight.
Yeah,
We
21's
love
in the
21.
Yeah, we don't need you to put it. I don't need to hear that in the background.
No. We love you guys, our viewers. Thank you to you.
Yeah, we love everybody that's on here. Thank you so much for being on here. And Miss Leigh, this is a podcast that you hosted earlier. So why don't you go ahead and take us out?
All right. Thanks, Jimmy. Okay. Jimmy, 21, thank you so much. A shout out to Big Mike. A shout out to BC. We love you guys. A shout out to Cash because, he's out there. Got to give a shout out to him.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody that tuned in with us tonight. Be sure to be there for the show Monday night with the guys. And you never know, I might pop on. And also, Jimmy and I, our show on Wednesday nights. Don't forget about us at 7 p.m. The guys will be on Monday night at 6. We love you guys. Everybody have a great week and go Cats.
Go Cats.